Welcome to Agenda Edina, a news program summarizing the actions taken in these chambers that affect you most. I'm your host, Dorothea Marty. A new economic development group has a plan for more jobs in the Twin Cities, but first it needs some help from both the public and private sectors. Edina and a number of other mid-sized Twin City suburbs are being asked to invest $10,000 annually to fund a regional economic development agency, which will work on behalf of the entire region to grow jobs. Studies have shown that the Minneapolis-St. Paul region has historically outpaced the nation in employment, wages, and economic output, but is behind much of the country in terms of job growth. The idea for an economic development agency came from a group of business leaders known as the Itasca Project Job Growth Task Force, who came together to study factors that support job growth and determine ways to create, attract, and retain quality jobs. The Itasca Project identified a need for a regional economic development agency similar to those currently in place in Kansas City, Pittsburgh, and Charlotte. The task force has launched a search for a CEO and is beginning to secure its founding investment. Cities such as Edina, with a population between 20 and 50,000, are asked to contribute $10,000 annually to fund the agency, which will work on behalf of the entire region to grow jobs. Edina City Council members have expressed interest in being a partner in the agency, but will consider the matter further during 2011 budget discussions this month and next. A few new jobs will already be on their way to Edina soon, as the City Council approved the construction and expansion plans for two Edina businesses last month. First, the council approved a preliminary development plan and preliminary rezoning for an expansion of the Southdale YMCA. The expansion would add over 15,000 square feet to the existing facility on York Avenue. Plans include a new leisure pool, fitness center, and studio.
All those components are very important to us from the standpoint of we have three pillars at the YMCA, and it really is right now about healthy living, youth development, and social responsibility. And by tying these aspects into our building and our programming, we really think we'll be stronger in the community and meet more community needs.
The Southdale YMCA is expected to seek final approval later this year. The City Council also approved plans for a new pharmacy in the greater Southdale area. CVS Pharmacy plans to build a retail store with drive-through facilities on the vacant lot at 6905 York Avenue. The council granted final development plan approval for the project, lifting a previous condition prohibiting a drive-through window on the property. Once complete, the store plans to be open 24 hours per day. It's a season that most people could do without. Flu season, and it's just underway. While cases of influenza usually spike from late December through early March, the season actually runs from October through May. So why is the flu more common in the fall and winter, and what can you do to prevent it? Edina 16's Marty Dahl finds out.
Poke. Done.
For healthcare providers like Nurse Jackie Helm, flu season
Have you had a flu shot before?
Yes.
means it's time for flu shots.
Done a few? Just a couple.
From September through the end of the year, flu shot clinics, like this one for Edina City employees,
The big long way.
are common across the country.
Done. Good job, Jack.
Well, this time of the year it gets really busy because we're ramping up, really trying to get the flu vaccine out.
Karen Zeliznak, whose office provides public health services for the cities of Edina, Bloomington, and Richfield,
All right, have you had a flu shot in the past?
says it's not just a coincidence that the flu reaches its peak, just as temperatures begin to reach their coldest.
There's something about the humidity of the air. Once it gets to be drier, it makes it easier for the virus to be spread. And then the other thing is, just like we put on a coat during the winter time, in the colder temperatures, the virus actually puts on a coat that helps protect it.
Of course, colder temperatures also drive more people indoors and into much closer contact, making it even easier for those pesky flu-causing germs to jump from person to person. In addition to getting the flu shot each year, Zeliznak says you can also heed a few familiar words of wisdom to help reduce your risk of catching and spreading the flu.
Good work.
You know, remember all those good things that your mothers and your grandmothers told you about when you sneeze. Cover your cough, wash your hands with soap and water. If you don't have soap and water, use the alcohol-based sanitizers, and just to try and keep the stress levels pretty low so that you're going into the season with a healthy immune system.
With photographer Aaron Klein, I'm Marty Dahl, Edina 16.
Public health officials say this year's seasonal flu vaccine covers 3 strains of influenza, including H1N1. And while seniors, children under 5, and pregnant women are still among those at the greatest risk of developing complications from the flu, the vaccine is recommended for everyone over 6 months old. Officials recommend seeking out a public health clinic if the flu shot is not provided by your employer. As the Public Works Department continues to settle into its new building, workers are looking forward to bringing the same great service to Edina this winter. Edina 16, Steve Christensen has more.
Sounds ring throughout Edina's new Public Works building in preparation for another Minnesota winter.
It's a month process by the time you switch everything over and get everything checked out and make sure everything works good.
The new facility, which opened this past summer, has more space, making preparing plows much easier.
We're putting on snow plows for the first time in this facility. We have a nice overhead crane now, and we're utilizing that to make things easier and quicker, and just a lot more room.
This piece over here is going to stay 2C.
Because plow truck drivers will be departing from a new location this winter, drivers must also be prepared for some streets they may not be used to.
We've been working on changing our routes this fall by developing new directions for our plow drivers to drive to the route so they can plow as they're driving to the route.
Edina residents are encouraged to do their part when clearing out snow.
Everybody has to deal with it, so we just hope that they take that snow and put it to the sides. That gets frustrating when an operator's plowed since 4 o'clock in the morning and he's all done with his route, and then I get a call that there's a bunch of snow on the street and homeowners throwing snow back in the streets.
Edina's public work officials say that their change of venue and updated routes may take some getting used to, but will ultimately help plow drivers do their job more efficiently. For Edina 16, I'm Steve Christensen.
Public Works has also installed a new weather radar system that will help track incoming storms. Still to come, find out why Edina High School and Valley View Middle School students had an unexpected day off on homecoming. But first, the community comes together to help those in need when we return.
I love that belt. I know, right? It looks so sophisticated. It really makes it look like you can take on the world.
Yours is great too.
Aw, and it's really comfortable.
Dude, where'd you get that belt?
What, this? I've always had this.
It's pretty sweet. I bet one would look good on me.
Well, there's one just like it right over there.
Oh, right on.
Not all parks have a superhero on duty, so it's up to you to protect Edina's benches, steps, and rails. Encourage skaters to visit the Tri-City YMCA skate park instead of other public facilities.
Welcome back to Agenda Edina. October 9th marked the second annual Edina Day of Service, and more than 1,300 volunteers worked on various projects helping those in need, beautifying the city, and even saving energy at a few Edina homes. Photojournalist Ray Woodstrand and I had the chance to see how it all happened.
You get beautiful color here.
Fran and Alfred have lived in their Edina home for more than 50 years.
It's just a wonderful place to live.
While they love their home and the neighborhood, Fran and Alfred have noticed some cold air seeping in during the winter months.
In the winter, she needs the heat because she had poor blood circulation.
Okay.
This is our thermostat, and what it does is to automatically turn down at night.
This is just one of 4 homes owned by Edina seniors that were chosen for a complimentary visit by the Home Energy Squad. Mike Platiter is on the Edina Energy and Environment Commission, one of the driving forces behind this Day of Service program.
The Home Energy Squad visit is sponsored by Excel and CenterPoint Energy. Comes out to the homeowner to install energy-saving devices for them to start saving money right away and start saving energy right away.
Bob Gubrud, who also serves on the commission, explains some of the devices being installed.
We're putting in programmable thermostats, CFLs, compact fluorescent lights. They're putting weather stripping, around the doors. I'm putting up window film.
While receiving this service at no cost is a plus, the value to homeowners like Fran and Alfred is priceless.
We have toyed with the idea of having to move since we're in our 80s and not being able to keep up with our jobs here, maintaining our house and our home. But we've had help now from the home organization, now today from you people, and every time this happens, we get more and more assured that we can stay in our house.
The work done in Edina was a collaborative effort between the Edina Energy and Environment Commission, Excel and CenterPoint Energy, and the Minnesota Center for Energy and the Environment. The Home Energy Squad program is available to any Excel or CenterPoint Energy customer for about $50 to $80, depending on the level of service you would like. To find out more, visit www.edinagogreen.org. During this year's election, Edina's kids got a chance to experience the thrill of voting firsthand, thanks to an exciting program aimed at opening new eyes to the democratic process. Edina 16's Scott Denfeld brings us more.
What is your favorite word or phrase in the Pledge of Allegiance?
The right to vote has always been the core of our freedom as Americans, and kids in Edina are learning just how important this right is through a program called Kids Voting Edina.
Kids are learning about voting and being active in their community, in schools with teachers, and then they go home, they get mom and dad, they come out to the poll, and they place their vote.
It's an experience that's had a great impact on many Edina students.
Some of the kids get really into this and have had debates and have talked to candidates and have written letters to the editor.
And in 2010, Kids Voting Edina is focusing on another important aspect of our country's freedom.
A new program this year is a statewide program called Vote in Honor of a Veteran. Kids are given a button that they can identify a veteran who they know, or maybe a relative, maybe a neighbor, put their name down to vote in honor of that veteran.
Especially as a veteran, and a veteran of several pretty intense foreign conflicts, I feel very privileged to have the right to vote.
Chris Hoffman, both an Edina teacher and a veteran, sees the impact that learning about voting can have on young people.
If I know that students are voting and they take the time to do that, that really makes me feel good, because I know that in that instance I'm making a difference with them.
I am grateful for anybody that risks their safety to save ours.
And as Hoffman has seen firsthand, the sacrifices these veterans have made can have a lasting impact on these kids.
For me to be able to tell students, you know what, we have a lot of rights here, and there are a lot of people that have fought and sacrificed a lot to ensure you have those rights, including voting, and if they remember that and they want to vote for me because of that, well then, by golly, go ahead and thank you so much for doing that.
For Edina 16, I'm Scott Denfeld.
Studies show that communities that have participated in kids voting have increased voter turnout by 3 to 5%, with the voter turnout among 18 to 24-year-olds increasing up to 14%. A chemical spill last month gave students at both Edina High School and Valley View Middle School the day off from classes. The Edina Fire Department was called about a sulfuric-smelling chemical leaking onto the floors of Edina High School just before classes began on October 15th. Emergency crews learned that a tank used to hold and neutralize discarded chemicals from the school's science labs had backed up and began spreading onto the floor of the high school. The high school and neighboring middle school were evacuated, and a chemical assessment team from the Hopkins Fire Department came out to test the makeup of the chemicals. They determined the spill did not pose an immediate health threat, and an emergency spill response crew was called in to clean up the mess.
So we were unsure of what we were dealing with, and to be safe, we called for the state chemical assessment team, which comes out of Hopkins for this area, to come and run tests on the spill and determine what we were dealing with so we would know how to mitigate the situation.
School officials say no students were present when the spill took place. Paramedics examined a janitor who was in the area, but he was released with no signs of injury. As a result of the spill, Edina's homecoming dance was moved from the high school to the Edina Community Center, but all festivities still went on as planned. 2 student members of Edina's boards and commissions reigned over the homecoming festivities as royalty. Maria De Pesa, a member of the Art Center Board, and Carwin Kata of the Energy and Environment Commission were part of the 2010 Homecoming Court. Mayor Jim Hovland was also part of the fun, participating in the homecoming parade. Before we go, we want to highlight some of the many upcoming events in our community. Cast your ballots in the general election November 2nd. 6 candidates are vying for 2 open seats in the race for Edina City Council. Campaigning are Daniel Azar, Joni Bennett, Steve Brown, Todd Fronek, Timothy Kerr, and Josh Sprague. The 2 top vote-getters will begin their 4-year terms in January. Support your local art center and community health organization and get some holiday shopping in at the Taste of Creativity. The fundraiser will be held 4 to 7:30 p.m. November 4th at the Art Center. The event will feature a silent auction, artist demonstrations, gift sales, hors d'oeuvres, and live music. Proceeds will benefit the Edina Art Center, Fairview Auxiliary, and Edina Public Art Committee. City Hall will be closed November 11th in observance of Veterans Day. The League of Women Voters will host a reception for new city manager Scott Neal Monday, November 15th at City Hall from 6 to 8 p.m. All residents are encouraged to attend the open house to meet the new manager. City Hall will be closed November 25th and 26th for Thanksgiving. This community has much to be thankful for this holiday season. Thank you for watching this month's episode of Agenda Edina. I'm your host, Dorothea Marty.